Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Photography Tips and Tricks, your show for gear, inspiration, tutorials, anything you're going to need to be able to take your photography over to the next level. My name is RC, and this week we're going to kick it off with Glyn Dewis, who's got a great tutorial on how to be able to shoot background elements to use for your composites. Let's take a look.
Hi folks, I'm Glyn Dewis and I'm here out on location in Clearwater, Florida, just collecting a few background elements for a composite I'm going to be working on. But while I'm here, I just thought I'd give you a bit of a tip that I generally think about when I'm collecting pictures for my backgrounds. And that's all to do with the time of day and what do? Do we shoot the person first or the background first? Now, it's entirely up to you, but my only advice would be, think about it. Okay, if we're going to be photographing our person in the studio and we go for maybe a 3-light setup where we have highlights or rim lights coming from the side here with a bit of fill, and then we come out to film the back or photograph the backgrounds and we have all these hard shadows all over the place, it ain't going to really fit together. The background light isn't really matching the foreground, so a little tip might be to photograph the background first, so that then where we have all these hard shadows all over the floor, when it comes to lighting our person in the studio, we can kind of mimic that light. The other alternative is move to the UK. We've always got flat light, so we don't have to worry about things like this. So listen, I'm Glyn Dewis. If you want to find out more, come and check out my class over at Kelby Training. But for now, it's back to you guys over in the studio.
Here at Kelby Training, we have hundreds of classes and thousands of lessons on all kinds of photography techniques. But if you're just starting out, maybe unboxing your first DSLR, you may not have a clue where to begin. What if you had an opportunity to learn from world-class photography instructors exactly what you need to get started? From the very beginning, with help all along the way, Kelby Training can now give you just that. We're launching an innovative new tool for beginners that'll lay the foundation needed to understand your camera and walk you through how to capture beautiful images. Tell us a little about yourself, and we'll design a custom curriculum to help you reach your goals. It's that simple. So, where do you begin? Well, I'd like to invite you to join us for a live webcast June 6th, where Scott Kelby and our entire team of instructors will explain how it all works and exactly what our classes will cover. To be a part of this special event, register for our contests and even get access to an entire beginner's class, all for free, sign up at kelbytraining.com/webcast. This is something that we're all really excited about here at Kelby Training. Because whether you're a professional photographer or just starting out and itching to turn that mode dial to something other than auto, you're passionate about getting beautiful pictures. And we're passionate about teaching you how, every step of the way. Beginners, start here at kelbytraining.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Photography Tips and Tricks, RC here. Now, I've got a quick tutorial for you on flash duration, the concept of flash duration. But before I do, I want to make sure we get Tim Wallace in here because Tim Wallace has got a good tip on using flash. Take a look.
Hi guys, I'm Tim Wallace. We're down here shooting a class for Kelby Training, and I've got a quick tip on something that could help you out and improve your photography. When we're using flash off camera, one of the best ways that we can do this is using it with a Pocket Wizard, the new TTL units. This makes it extremely versatile for metering through the camera, but also adding something like this, which is an extendable arm, which simply screws in. And this gives us the ability to put that flash into really awkward positions, whether that's high or low. And it means that the whole thing's more versatile. If you'd like to check out my classes on kelbytraining.com, or if you want to learn a little bit more about me, visit ambientlife.co.uk.
Thanks so much, Tim. Now, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about flash duration and give you a couple of examples. Obviously, I have this hulking thing in front of me that I'm totally geeking out over. This is the Dell 27-inch XPS all-in-one, and I've been kind of just playing with it, and so far I've been liking it a lot, right? I don't want to talk about it too much, but it's one of those things that I've been kind of experimenting a lot with Intel Core i7 processors, and I wanted to get something that was really, really big for the house, right? So this is kind of my house machine. Figured I'd bring it in. It's using Windows 8, right? So if you're used to an Xbox, it's actually pretty straightforward. It's touch, right? It's not too bad. But that's not it. That's not what I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about flash duration. So here's the deal, right? You buy flashes, and whenever you buy flashes, a lot of the times people think of power, right? They think of, well, an SB900 or a 580 EX, they're a specific power, right? More power, bigger power, monoblocks are bigger powers, but not a lot of people talk about flash duration. And that's how fast that flash is. People think about how powerful, but they don't think about how fast. So think of it this way. Imagine if I hold my hand out, right? Flash, flash, flash. There are flashes that at specific power ratings, that up and down, right, the amount of time that it goes from big to small is shorter than others. And you want to make sure that it's relatively short if you're shooting action or any kind of motion. So the way that it works, and just using this as a quick illustration here, right, so if you think about this, a line like this being a line that's of power, right, so let's just call that power. And then over here, you see a line like this that goes over time. A flash, when you trigger the flash and the flash goes, all right, ready, flash. Basically what happens is it cooks up, and as it cooks up, it gets to its peak, and then the flash starts to decay, right? Sometimes that's like a traditional line of decay. So if this would be almost kind of like time right here. So when you're looking at a flash, what you don't want is you don't want a flash that's going to do this. Low power, low power, low power, and then kind of brings itself up over here, because all of the action and all of the meat could be in this one area, right? Instead, you would like a flash that kind of gets out very, very quickly, but then at the same time falls off really, really fast. That's a short duration. If your flash all of a sudden comes up very, very quickly, but then does this, basically, it's still on, right? So it's still on. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to capture some sort of motion, some sort of something, and you're not going to be able to do it. So let me show you an actual example of how that works. So I have a picture here. We'll go ahead and we'll just go over to my pictures area. And let's see. This is a good one. So I did this, right? So there's one picture here. This is a Yongnuo flash, right? So let's just, I'll show you where that is here. Let's see. Here, the Yongnuo YN562 flash. So this is the flash that we're talking about here, and all I did was take this flash and put this flash on an umbrella and put it onto a subject. So in here, there's the flash, there's the umbrella, there's the subject. Now Brandon has got a card, and all I wanted him to do was take this card and go like this, flip it. So he has a little card that's spinning. When he did that, we'll go ahead and we'll come over here. I'll show you this one picture. There's Brandon, right? He looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and just zoom in here real quick. So that picture looks nice. We'll go ahead and bring ourselves in here, right? He's sharp, he's in focus, so that's not necessarily a problem. That's what you would normally be looking for in a flash if you were doing any kind of portraiture work. But watch what happens when I zoom out. So I come back out here. I'm just going to zoom into this one area. Look at that card, right? Not necessarily dead on. So imagine if my job were to sell that card, right? That would not be good, because now that card is blurry. He didn't move so much, but that card is really where the action is. So something like this, or something like if you're doing dance, or if you're doing sports where you really need to get a person at the peak of motion, this flash at its full power may not necessarily be something that you might want to use. The flash, as the Yongnuo 560, as it comes down, that flash duration gets a lot shorter and becomes a little bit better, but at full power, it looks like I can't use it. Now, by comparison, I went with an Elinchrom BXRI 500. We did the exact same thing, right? So now he's set up, and we're gonna go ahead and just take a look at that. Watch what happened here. I caught that in this one section, right? He flips the card. The card's in motion, the card's still, he's still. So now, if my job were to try to catch that card, I would be able to do that because the flash that I'm using in this instance is a lot quicker. It's just in and out, in and out. Because it can do that, it can stop action a lot better, and that would be a much smarter choice. So that's not to say that the Yongnuo is a bad flash, it's just to say that if you needed for action, you may want to consider a very, very important component in flash, which is the duration of that flash. If you want to see more of this kind of stuff, obviously you can take a look at all of this stuff on Kelby Training. We'll go ahead and we'll talk to you about and break down all of this stuff when it comes to flash. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I want to show you the website that we want to watch. I'm going to talk to you about a special event that's happening next week and your contest. Stick around.
Whether you love to read ebooks on your iPad, consider your Kindle your best friend, or addicted to your Nook, Peachpit ebooks are for you. When you purchase your ebooks from Peachpit, you get 3 formats. That means you can easily read them on any device of your choice. Or if you're in the mood to read on your computer, we supply you with the PDF. Head on over to Peachpit today to get an ebook for 40% off.
Welcome back, everybody. Photography Tips and Tricks, RC here. Now, I've got a website for you to take a look at. So let's go ahead and actually start with this here. I'm going to go over and let's take a look at the website to watch this week, photoextract.com. This is a great, great website. It's run by Jarek Kilmek. And what he does is he goes out and takes a look at some amazing, amazing images and culls all of that stuff for you. So if you're looking for daily inspiration, this is a great place for you to be able to do that. And it calls a lot of the stuff on Google+, which is where we spend a lot of our time. So if you want to take a look at the 7 top Google photographs from May 26, you can go ahead and do that. You want to take a look at an editor's choice picture? There's some amazing, amazing work. And all of that's right here at photoextract.com. Now, I want to talk to you about a very special event that we're having here. So on the Kelby Training website, join us live June 6th at 7 o'clock. Basically, what we did here is we went to the basics. There's a lot of people that we talk to that are just like, all right, well, I love Kelby Training, right? Kelby Training is awesome because we learn from McNally, Joe McNally, Moose Peterson, Jay Maisel, Scott Kelby, all these other people, the greats on photography. But what if all of a sudden you just got a camera, right? And you're sitting there and you're looking at it and you're like, well, that stuff would be really, really good later. But right now, I got some problems. I'm trying to figure out how to be able to understand aperture or how to be able to even just make a decent image. What do I do? So Mia McCormick, Larry Becker, Scott Kelby, Matt Laskowski, Pete Collins, we all got together with some great instructors and we created this resource called Beginner Start Here. And what it does is it says, tell us who you are, tell us what kinds of things you're interested in, tell us what kind of cameras you have, and we'll go ahead and set up a custom curriculum for you to be able to learn. So now anybody who's just starting has a great resource to be able to get from zero, not knowing anything, to becoming a pro. So I'm really excited about it. We'll talk to you a little bit more about it. Make sure that you go over here, go to the Kelby Training website and join us. Make sure June 6th, 7 p.m., this is the place that you want to be. We're going to have a webcast that's going to talk all about this. So, contest time. I want you guys to win this book. Joe Levine and Brad Bartholomew wrote a book called Light Right. Learn how to create images, set up a studio, and launch your photography career. If you want to be able to do any of those things, this is the book you're going to want to read. Thanks to the folks over at Peachpit for that. Now, how do you win this, right? So, easy enough. We'll go ahead and we'll go over here to the Kelby TV site. At kelbytv.com, you have photography tips and tricks. Obviously, take a look at all of the other shows. But go to the photography tips and tricks section. Inside of there, what I want you to do is I want you to find this episode. Go all the way to the bottom of this episode and leave us a comment. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Tell us what you want to see. Anything that you want a question, an answer to, we want to make sure that we can provide it for you. So do that. We're going to pick a random winner, and you guys are going to win that Light Right book. So a lot of information. Make sure you join us June 6th, but I'll see you guys here next week on Photography Tips and Tricks. Take care.